Fresh is the
All right,
word.
everybody. Let's welcome to the Fresh is the Word TV live podcast. I'm your host, Kelly King Fresh Fraser. Like always, we have the freshest of guests for you. And who we have joining us is the GFM. It's a three-piece metal band of teenage sisters. They just dropped their newest single, Frame in the Perception, from their upcoming EP coming out May 27th. And they're currently on tour with Chris Jericho's band Fozzy. How you doing today?
We're doing good. We actually are on an off day today. We were supposed to have a show, but it got postponed at the last minute. So we have an extra off day today, and then we have a few of our own one-off shows, and then we meet back up with Fozzy. And we're heading out to the West Coast.
That's what's up. That's what. Yeah, I'm actually going to the AEW show tonight here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we love all the AEW stuff. We actually just got into it right before this tour, and we got the call from Chris, so we were just like, oh my goodness, it's so cool.
How's it been touring with Fozzy and being around Chris Jericho?
How's it been touring with Fozzy? He is so genuine, and it's not just Chris; it's Rich, PJ, Billy, all Brooks. Of them. Even Avery, the manager. Yeah, they help us. Not just with the music side of things, but also with the business side of things. They're giving us a bunch of pointers and insider information, and so we're just super grateful for everything that they're helping us with.
Yeah, I was at the Fozzy show in Michigan, but I missed you guys because I couldn't get there in time. I wish I could have seen you guys perform.
Yeah, a lot of people they're saying that they were coming for Fozzy, but then they caught our set and they're like, oh my goodness. And so now they're telling all their friends not to miss out on GFM. So hopefully we'll be able to come back and you can catch us next time.
Oh yeah, definitely. How's it feel to be able to do that? Be in, an opening act on this tour, but after you guys are done performing, have people talk about you guys and recommend that you get there to watch you guys.
It's like we're speechless almost. We are just so grateful for people listening to us and hearing our passion, our music, and our truth, and just people wanting to come and talk to us. So it's just been so different. This is our first time being playing at main cities and also new states. We've never been able to play Delaware, Maine, a lot of the Northeast top states. So yeah, we're just so blown away from all the response.
Yeah, it was I did see you at the merch table later on, and taking pictures of everybody. How fun is that to just interact with all these new fans?
It's funny to hear their responses because we understand we wear super girly stuff, we love pink, we love glitter, and when they watch us play, it's definitely almost a full 180. Yeah, because we love being really in your face and super loud and super energetic and fun, and it's just funny to hear their responses when they come back to I didn't know what to expect. Sometimes people are I'm gonna be honest, I did not think this was gonna be good, and then I watch you guys and it's just so much fun. So it's really funny. Yeah, it's definitely there's just so many fun conversations that happen at the table.
Right. How did your all sisters and how did you just get into wanting to do metal?
So we were playing. What was the first thing you would say we played? Hard rock. Hard rock, yeah. And then in 2014, we went to a festival called Rockville in Jacksonville, Florida. That moved to Daytona now, but it was mainly in Jacksonville. And Maggie, because I went home early, me and Lulu went home early because it was super hot. But Maggie listened to bands like Bring the Horizon, Ask Alexandria, Mastodon, and she was like, I cannot believe this. This is amazing. And so she introduced us to those bands. And then also she came across Flyleaf with Lacey Sturm. So Lacey is the reason that Maggie screams. And it was really cool. In 2000, I want to say 18 or 19. And then we've played with her a good 3-4 times now. And but it was really full circle to be able to like actually perform with her and then meet her for the first time. And then she calls us her like little sisters, but it's funny because she's so short, and so I feel like we're her big sisters because we're taller than her. But she is super sweet. It's just that her like whole team. We were really good friends with her drummer. Oh my, why am I blanking? Christina? I can't remember. But we met with her at Uprise, and everyone is just so genuine. So it's just so weird that like your idols that you look up to in like the music industry, and you're playing with them, and you can call them friends. And then especially with like Chris and everyone on that team. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
What do you think it is about the band that it was able to gravitate to these people that you looked up as idols, and now you're friends with them? What do you think contributed to that? What do you guys try to do when you're making your music, performing, just the image of everything? Why do you feel like it gravitated toward these people that you once looked up to?
I think it definitely took just a lot of hard work, and we had to put in the time and like earn that respect. And that's something we were told just the entire time when we were creating our first album, and then the next project and everything. Everybody we were talking to was like just motivating us to continue and to keep going, like putting the work in and keep pushing as hard as we could, because you have to put in your time, you have to put in the effort before people will actually take a second and like really kind of respect your work. Because if you're like the new kid on the block and you don't have any like experience under your wing, like there's no substance to hold on to gravitate to. And so once you have that experience and people can trust that you're here to stay, your band is here to stay, and you're not these prima donnas that come on stage and they don't fit and everything.
I think also being genuine too, because even with all this and all the opportunities that we've had and being able to play in front of a lot of people, being sponsored and all this different type of stuff, I think that you have to stay humble, because a lot of people will start getting into these, well, I deserve more, or I deserve this, and this. And we're just grateful to be able to play a lot of this stuff and have these opportunities. And I think it catches up on you. So we had to have this conversation with each other, with us three sisters, and just be like, hey, we need to check each other when we get into these attitudes, or we get into these late nights, because it does wear and tear on you. It's not this easy lifestyle that you get to play in front of a lot of people and then you get a bunch of money and then you're just living the lifestyle. Like, no, it's definitely hard work. It takes in wear and tears on your mental health and your physical health. But we had to sit with each other and be like, hey, I know that we're sisters, and sometimes we don't want to tell each other what to do, and we don't want to take that criticism, but we have to be able to be humble with each other and not let our heads get too big.
With the whole image of the band, with next to the actual sound of the band, you were talking about how that surprises a lot of people. How do you go about, making that genuine and sort of, towing that line to where it's not too gimmicky, and then that you're being yourselves?
I think it goes the line where we do something that we don't want to do, because everything that we put out, it was our ideas. We love doing it. Like, we love the cheerleading outfits. We love being girly. We love pink. We love the new black and green ones we do. We just collaborated with Gloomy Bear. So he's this like very pink bear. It's my pop socket. And he is like this anime character that like
he loves destroying things.
He's
like a wild bear.
And it's really funny, but it's super girly, and also is that like, what is that?
It's like the edginess still to it. And so we collaborated on a t-shirt with him, and he's like destroying a bunch of like band equipment, and like he's punching through an amp and everything.
Yeah.
And so it's all stuff that we enjoy doing.
I think it would cross the line when it's like, we don't like it because that would relate on stage. And that awkwardness. So we're just having a good time. We love doing what we want
to do. How do you're young, you're just, you're going on the road, you're meeting all these people, they're giving you advice. How do you sort of like balance all that, keep your mental health straight?
It's definitely a lot of work, and you have to be conscious through almost every decision you make and through each day. Because I'm kind of off easy. I don't have school. Me and Maggie both graduated at the same time with our bachelor degrees. Maggie's in crisis counseling, and I did business management. But Maggie's going for her master's degree. So she runs a lot of the social media and makes a lot of the main decisions through the label. But she's also doing her master's degree. She's also doing a lot of other stuff. And then Lulu does a lot of the videography. And so Lulu's doing all that, but she is graduated from high school, but now she's still in college. So we just have a lot to do, but we're just constantly checking in on each other. This isn't like all man for himself. It's a circle of continuing. We're in this together.
And I think if we didn't have that unit, it would crumble fast. Yeah, it took a really big toll on us. And because we are so strong together now as like a 3-person unit, and then also with our whole crew as well. But since we have learned such good communication skills with us 3, we're able to really see when somebody is struggling and have those tough conversations and be like, listen, we need to figure out what's going on here so we can reevaluate and get our camp back in order.
And we pick up the pace when someone needs to rest more, and we're like, okay, it's okay for you to sit this out. Let's take up the extra space for it, and then we'll kind of get you back into the cycle once you are at 100%. Because we know we take on a lot. We know we do. We're doing everything in like 2 times instead of regular. So it's definitely communication and looking out for each other is key.
How do you balance this world where you're in the music industry, but then also, going to school, have this other, the other part of your life where you're preparing, to just learn other things, and you'll have backups if the music thing doesn't, work out in the long run. How do you balance all that?
I think it's just something that we grew up doing because we did start doing music at such a young age. Yeah. And so we were just constantly always doing school and music at the same time. And so it kind of feels weird when we're not. But our parents have always been big proponents of having like a backup plan. And so we constantly are having 2 or 3 things going at the same time. And, whether that's learning how to record our own music, learning how to film our own videos, or going to school and stuff like that. We always are trying to broaden our knowledge of how to do different things just so we can be used in different areas if something like music doesn't end up working out for us. Especially because when COVID happened, a lot of people weren't able to continue on. And so we took that opportunity to learn how to do stuff like recording music and everything, and just add more things for us to learn how to do since we had time off from performing.
Yeah. What's, when you're going through all of this, what sort of like, do you ever get the allure of the music industry like stuck in your head of of all the possibilities there, and does it have you ever wavered from the schooling and the real life, and how do you sort of get everything balanced again?
Yeah,
it was a learning curve, but we had to realize what were our goals, and we had a lot of these conversations. It wasn't just like a once, okay, this is what we want to do, let's do it. It's multiple times through, like each month we'll have conversations and we'll be on the same page and make sure we're on the same page, and we'll kind of like schedule out our life so we can help each other's goals, and make sure that we are all balanced through school and doing our different things that we want. Like Maggie was wanting to, what's the word I'm trying to think of, like dive more into the recording process, which really helped because we got to be more involved into that process with our new EP that's going to come out really soon in May, and then just a bunch of different other things like that.
If we don't have those conversations, it definitely can get to the point where it's like oh, well, I don't even want to continue doing my school since it's more fun to play music and there's so much more like free time if we're just doing that. So why would I continue doing school? But our parents have been such big proponents of having a backup plan.
Yeah.
And our dad is such a big supporter, but at the same time, his deal was if we did school, then he would support us. And so in order for us to have that backup plan guaranteed, that was his deal. And so it's just something that our parents helped us keep our head in the right space, so we didn't just end up like giving away a bunch of that.
Yeah.
Just because music isn't something that is guaranteed, and I think that was something we really saw when COVID hit, and since stuff like that can happen at a moment's notice, you can't really plan for that stuff, and so it's good to have a backup plan.
And I feel like we're really big like follow throughers, where we don't just start something and then stop it. We like to put our full hearts into it. So even though we're like adding little things into more of our like under our belt, it doesn't cloud us. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk more about the EP coming out. It's Framing My Perception, coming out on Rockfest Records on May 27th. What did going into this EP, what did you want to accomplish? What do you feel like you were able to succeed with on this EP?
We definitely wanted to take just kind of a more personal and raw approach to things. Because we did want to not only call out ourselves, but kind of call out a bunch of people and just in the world in general. And so we talked about topics of just toxic relationships or kind of overworking yourselves and not taking a step back. And we really had to learn how to reevaluate the way we were seeing things in life for a long time. We had a difficulty just viewing things in a negative outlet, and so in order for us to learn how to start growing from situations that we were in, we had to take a step back and reevaluate and choose to see it from a positive side of things and choose to see it from a learning point and a way to grow. And that helped us overcome a lot of difficult situations in our life, and so we wanted to write something explaining that and really tackling that, and that's what the single from Our Perception is about, and that's why it is a much more mellow song, because we wanted the music to align with the message of the song and really just be about like taking a step back, taking a breather, and like calming yourself and changing the way you view like your situation, and like taking yourself out of that situation of like freaking out and realizing it's okay to reevaluate this and to just take a second to figure things out. And the whole EP kind of deals with that and deals with learning how to really change the way you approach any type of situation.
Yeah, I've been aware of GFM for a few years now, and I feel like this. I've got a chance to listen to the whole EP, and I feel like it's a great step forward for the band. Musically, was there anything, what's your thoughts about this EP? Do you feel like you did anything better or anything new on this new EP?
I think we really pushed ourselves in the writing process to try new things that it's not like we haven't tried, but like perfected them. And then we did try new things. Like I don't solo, but I was like, oh, I want to solo for one of these songs. Like Maggie, she was trying gutturals for the first time. And so there's some super heavy breakdowns in it. And it's just so good. I love it. And we always try to write at least one heavy song, like heavier than the last album, heavier than the last one. So there's some really cool breakdowns and some really heavy points.
But the choruses, I think we really pushed ourselves as well, because we didn't want to have it to be kind of just like that monotone chorus, because we have found ourselves kind of falling into that pattern with the last few EPs. And so we really wanted to push ourselves in the melody aspect of things. And so we were able to write these big choruses, which is something that we haven't done before. So it's really cool to see even the songs that are super heavy just open up into these massive like singing choruses. So.
And also lyric wise too, because I felt like we were getting pretty almost too basic in our lyrics, and then these I felt like they
really helped us open up and just become very raw with the lyric writing.
Yeah.
You know, where did you find the inspiration to sort of find, you know, those new things that you wanted to try out on the new EP? You know, where do you sort of learn to like, I want to do a breakdown like this. I want to do a melody like this. I want to write more like this. Where does that sort of inspiration come from?
I think with the writers that we write with, they really try to pull it out of us creatively wise. We'll have to get a big shout out to Blaze Rojas from 7 Day Slumber. He helped us a lot in that category because he had the chance to work with us on this new EP, and I don't know, it's like he was a family friend for a long time, but then now incorporating into the writing process, it really pulled out some really interesting factors that we never, I don't know, even thought of, but it's like simple changes that, like, I'm trying not to like give away things. It's difficult, but yeah, it's really interesting.
The whole, you know, look of the band, the style of the band, where does that sort of like the fashion inspiration come from?
There's definitely a lot of like streetwear and like kawaii type streetwear. That's a really big inspiration from it. We're also all like huge anime nerds, and so we love the like cutesy little girl who can still end up kicking your butt atmosphere, like aesthetic and everything. And so we try to incorporate that into everything. We love like the Zombieland sagas and like those types of animes where it's like kind of like Monster High looking girls, but they can still like they're like a brutal death metal band, and so we love finding things like that and incorporating like the girly aspect of that. But we're also really big proponents of like the 80s scene and how big they were into their like look, and that's why we have like the big boots, we have the big hair, we have the big makeup, and we have the big stage performances. We have the big lights, the big smoke, the big like fire and everything. And it's something that our parents were big like supporters of, because they're like, people don't want to just see you like play the song. They want to come to see a show. They weren't coming to be entertained, and so you have to put a show on for them. And so all of those factors just kind of combined together to make this like weird phenomenon of GFM.
And we enjoy it. I feel like we couldn't ever just sit there and play. And not bashing on anyone that does that. Like, everyone has their right to do whatever they feel like comfortable doing performing, because that's what shows through and shines through your passion. But we feel like I have to run around. I can't stand still.
Any plans for your own anime or manga or comic book or whatever? How cool would that be?
That would be so cool. We really have toyed with the idea of doing a GFM graphic novel for quite a while, and so that's something that's been in like the back of our minds, trying to figure out how to make that work for a good amount of time. But I don't know.
Yeah, we've definitely been thinking about it.
Those guys over at Z2 Comics, they do all those music comics and graphic novels.
Super cool, because we've seen a bunch of bands that we love doing. And we're like, man, that's
Skillet,
really cool.
Starset, Lights.
I think Red did one.
Oh yeah.
So
a bunch of different bands.
It'd be super cool to do one at some point.
You know, outside of, you know, music, you know, you touched on it with the anime and everything. You know, what are some of your like your passions, your favorite things to do just to have fun?
We play a lot of video games. Lulu actually is a Twitch streamer. Like, we Twitch stream, but she has her individual called Lulu, and she Twitch streams a lot of games. Like, her favorite is like Valorant, League of Legends. And then Maggie is a big reader. She has an actual library column built into one of her walls, and she just has literally probably over hundreds of books. And then I'm super into gardening. I have my own little garden. I'm sad I had to leave it for like 2 months.
Our brother's been like picking all of her like vegetables that have been growing and everything, and eating them. And he's like, "Why are you not saving them?"
I was like, "Put them in the freezer. You do not deserve those vegetables. Never mind." And then
it looks so good. I gotta eat them.
We're all really big into like our health, and so we work out a lot.
We like cooking our own food. When we're home, we do a lot of like cooking streams. Baking streams. We make a lot of like baked goods. It's not good for our health. We have big sweet tooth. So
it's all about balance.
Cooking with GFM.
It's a thing. It is.
When you're on stage, what do you hope you get out of the audience? What do you hope that they get out of a show?
Just to have a good time. So we are a faith-based band, and we say our beliefs from stage, and we want to talk about anything, like having a conversation about why we believe what we believe or whatever. But we also like to put out there that you don't have to believe the same things that we believe to have a good time, to come to the show. So we also promote that we want you to like lay down those worries that you have, all those burdens, a lot of the like anxiety or stress from work, from family, from an everyday life, and just come to the show and have a good time, to mosh around, release some of that energy, and jump around, become friends with other people in the crowd. That was one of the craziest things that through having Team GFM and little avenues, like we'll have our Discord and a lot of individual chats that people talk to each other. They have like been making friends with each other and driving to shows together. And they said that they would have never had friends unless they would have like invited themselves into the world of GFM who had similar interests, because they were just nervous to talk to people. So it was really cool that our music and GFM was that platform to create bonds with people. So I don't know, it's really interesting and we're really grateful, and it's just cool to see how that play out.
How do you sort of toe that line of, being, a faith-based band, but not trying to be too preachy about things?
Yeah, there definitely is a line to walk, and we try to make sure we're not shoving it down anybody's throat.
I think the main thing is, like we were saying before, it's a conversation. And if we believe something is true, then like how selfish do you have to be to not share it? And so it's like, hey, it's like almost saying, this is my favorite movie. Like, of course I'm going to tell you what my favorite movie is and like everything about it. And then like you have every right to be like, oh, that's cool. And then you end the conversation and then we talk about something else. So we just put it out there, and then I don't know, it's just who we are. Then we're going to have a really great show. And if you don't agree with it, that's okay. Like, let's listen to some good music and rock out.
That's the thing that keeps it from crossing that boundary of being overbearing, where if you don't believe in the same things we do, it's not something that's going to keep you from listening to our music. And it's not, we're not going to shun you from shows and like say you're banned for going to a GFM show. Like, our music is for everybody to listen to. And, if you don't believe in the same thing, that's totally okay. And, you might have to listen to us talk about it for like 10 minutes on stage, but then like that's it. Like, we'll move on.
Not even 10 minutes.
Not even 10 minutes. And because it's something we try to really
like make it individual
on at the merch table. And if that's something that you're not interested in, you have all the right to be like, oh, I'm not really interested in that, and then we'll move on and have a conversation about something else. And it's all about just kind of starting that conversation and feeling it out. And if people aren't comfortable with it, then we don't have to continue it.
Do you feel like the discussions of faith are any different with your generation, your age group, than any other like generations before?
I think people, I go back and forth, because some people I feel like are more open about it, but I think it's the approach, because obviously some people are really rude, and so like I wouldn't even want to have a conversation with someone about the same things I believe if you're just gonna yell at me or just disagree with me constantly and not even let me speak. So I think it goes for any generation that if you're just genuine, and then people want to talk about it with you.
But the conversations that we've had, we've been very blessed to have like really great conversations with people, especially on this tour. And
like with any generation too.
With any generation.
Not just like kids our age.
We've talked to people our age, we've talked to people younger than us, we've talked to adults that are older than us, and they've all been just very receptive, and
everyone's been respectful.
Very respectful, and they've all been kind of reacting in the same way, and it's not been this like big generational gap or anything. Like it's been really cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel any sort of connection just in general with your generation, ushering their way into the music industry now?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And that's something that we had to kind of experience with when we first started, because it was difficult for people to take you seriously because you are so young and you're like getting your start in the industry, and you're just a kid and everything, and so it's hard for people to take you seriously sometimes. And so after putting in putting in the time, putting in the effort, and we're starting to see a lot more people respect us, and like towards like the Fozzy tour would open up for us and everything. And so I definitely feel for the kids that are just now getting into it, because at first it is a little difficult for people to take you seriously, which is completely understandable though, because you are a kid, and so sometimes you don't understand how things happen and things work in the industry, and so it is something that takes a little bit to learn. And I fully support people going in and learning it, but it's sometimes difficult for kids to get in there and to not have that chip on your shoulder and to be like, well, I'm the new generation, so I'm going to make a new way to do it. And when you're first starting out, you can't really do that. And so it's definitely important when you are very new to the scene and just everything to just really be open. And that's something that we learned, just being open and being available to take constructive criticism, but also taking that criticism and taking it to multiple people and getting their opinions on it as well, because a bunch of people have a bunch of different experiences in the music industry, and the more opinions and advice you can get, the more rounded that information will end up being. So I definitely feel for the people that are starting in the industry, but I definitely support it as well, because we do need more people. We need the next generation of musicians to start coming up.
I think they are too.
What's some of the best advice that you've gotten from some of these veterans that you've been able to interact with?
I would say focus on your image and who you are, and ground yourself before you jump into this industry. And then also focus on the business side of things. And I know it's not the most sought after, because it's all about music and your passion and growing that, but no one can see your passion and your talent unless you're put in front of people. And that's how you do that, is through the business side of things. So just researching that, copywriting who you are, distributing who you are, and a lot. There's so much that goes into it. My brain is going different places, but
I definitely think I would say just asking as many people for advice and for help as possible, because somebody told us when we were doing our first album, they're like, what is the worst they're going to do? Say no to you or ignore you? That's the worst that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so just asking for advice, asking for sponsorships, asking for spots on festivals and radio stations. And the worst thing they can do is either say no or just ignore your email. And we've gotten so many opportunities just from sending emails out and just from sending requests to people. And it's been really cool to see the doors that have opened. And you just have to be bold enough to send that email and to send that DM, and sometimes that's all it takes.
Right. Well, it's been great talking with you two. I'm highly impressed on your maturity, and you guys are. I'm very impressed. You guys are the whole band's just very wise beyond their years already. So
thank you.
So good luck with everything. Where before we get out of here, where can people go online to get more information about the band and just to follow all the funness of GFM?
For sure. So we have everything linked, from digital download, music sites to social media links, through everything, through our website is www.thegfmband.com.
And all the social media sites and everything are the same. So they're all the GFM band, all the tags. We made it super easy, because if they were different, we would forget them. And so we wanted to make them all the same. So everything is about GFM band.
Yeah. So it's all linked there.
Awesome. It's been great talking with you. Good luck on tour with Fozzy, and good luck with everything coming up in the music industry and your careers.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. Giving us a platform to speak who we are.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
All right, you too.
All right, bye. All right, everybody. That was GFM on another Fresh is the Word TV live podcast. Thanks for joining in, and feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at KFreshDetroit. The audio will be on all the streaming podcast platforms on the Fresh is the Word podcast stream. The video will be on YouTube and on Spotify. You can watch the video on Spotify now. And please hit that follow button on the Fresh is the Word TV Twitch channel, and we can build this a little bit more. So thank you again for tuning in, if you're listening live or if you're watching later on. All right. Have a good day. Goodbye and good night.